In Lochwinnoch Cemetery, Renfrewshire, there's a remarkable survival of a medieval cross. It probably dates from about 1100 AD, and it stands in the family lair of the Ewings of Lochwinnoch. It's known locally as the Dumb Proctor. A proctor was a form of medieval church official, and if you look at it, it gives a resemblance of being a man in a cassock bowing his head. The cross is said to have come from Crook Hill, which lies just across the way on the other side of the River Calder. Crook Hill is thought to be a name that originally was Cross Hill, so the cross would have stood here, probably what's called a wayside cross. That is, there was a busy route for those who were walking throughout the kingdom of Strathclyde as it was then. The design of the cross suggests that it came from what's called the Govan School. That is, it had characteristic carving of a number of crosses that were found within Strathclyde at one time. The cross was carved many years before John Knox's Reformation. As a strong Calvinist, he disapproved of the representation of religious figures on crosses and so on. The 5th Earl of Glencairn was given a commission by the Church of Scotland to destroy all monuments of idolatry. This may have been one of them. It's made of yellow sandstone and sits in a base or a socket of the same type of stone. It's thought that the arms were broken off at the time of the Reformation and the cross was buried. However, sometime later, James Ewing's grandfather, whilst out ploughing, uncovered the cross. He took it back and it was placed in their kail yard, the kail yard being their vegetable garden, and it remained there until it was taken to its present position in the cemetery and used as a gravestone for James Ewing. The stone may also have been some form of boundary marker between the British kingdom of Strathclyde and the Gaelic-speaking Scottish kingdom towards the north and to the east. On the back of the cross is a clothed figure, which may be a representation of Christ crucified on the cross. If the arms of the cross are still being there, then the positions of the heads and arms would be on the cross arms themselves. On the sides of the cross at one time was Celtic interlace work. On the front of the cross there's a central large boss where the cross would have been. Running down beneath that there's the head of a serpent, the head of a snake. It's thought at one time there were 4 of these snakes, with the other arms of the cross having been removed. The snake represents the rebirth. Because it sheds its skin, it's reborn. Below the boss, still fairly visible, is that of a rider on a horse. This is quite a common feature of a number of the crosses from the Govan School. Some interpretations have said that it might be the flight into Egypt or Christ entering Jerusalem. But the other examples show a person with weapons, so it's much more likely to be a warrior. Below the warrior, there are several panels which appear to have decorative designs. An earlier report said it was Saxon writing, possibly indicating also that it may have been runes, but of course it may simply be patterns such as lozenges and so on. The top of the cross may have been reshaped when it was used as a gravestone. In the Isle of Bute at St Blaine's, there are crosses with similar designs. Despite its condition, it's remarkable it's managed to survive 1,000 years of sometimes turbulent Scottish history.